You're on.
Tomo Origato, baseball fans. Welcome to In the Dugout. I'm Trevor Rogers. Was that a Japanese reference since opening day was last night, apparently, in Japan?
Yep, yeah. The A's and the Mariners opening up. But today on In the Dugout, got some interesting stuff coming your way. MLB excitement, college baseball, a little buy or sell, and then my segment from when I was at spring training last week. So
I know we're excited to see that, obviously, because you got to have a little more fun on spring break than we did. We were stuck here in the rain, but you had a good time, and we're excited to see that segment and the interview.
Definitely. So, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Still haven't gotten that fix. Need to put in our producer, still DJ Bradshare. DJ, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. You guys smell that? You smell it? It smells like baseball.
It smells
like
baseball.
Getting close to see the season opener.
We are a week from today away from opening day.
Actually, we had opening day.
Technically.
As Bobby so energetically mentioned just a second ago, Japan did host the opening day for American baseball.
Right.
Ironic as that is.
Right, and I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Are we ready to get started here, Trevor?
Yeah, definitely. We got some MLB excitement coming away. Like we said, the season's just around the corner. I tell you what, like I said, last week I got to spend some time at spring training, and I got to tell you what, the excitement around the Pittsburgh Pirates camp is really, really interesting because they were so close last year. They led the division through the All-Star break. And then they fell off, but this year with the addition of A.J. Burnett,
right,
they're a team that there's a new excitement in Pittsburgh that hasn't been there in a long time.
Absolutely, and I think there's plenty of reason. They've got a lot of young talent. Andrew McCutchen, Daniel McCutchen, obviously a former Sooner. Then you've got the guy you talked to.
Eric Fryer is going to be interesting. He was a Sunbelt guy a few years ago, and now he's duking it out for the backup catcher spot. And they're doing good things down there, developing their young guys. You know, you mentioned Andrew McCutchen. And he's a guy that you should
all-star.
He's an all-star, and he should be on your fantasy roster if you get a chance. The dude can play.
He steals a lot of bases, hits for a very good average. I mean, he's just a really solid all-around player. He hits for a decent amount of home runs for an average hitter as well.
Sure.
For a contact hitter. He's a great player. I mean, they got a lot of young talent out there. Their pitching rotation is in a lot better shape than people would think.
Right.
Down there. You got to expect a lot from the Pirates this year in a, let's be honest, a fairly weak division over there in the NL Central.
Sure. You know, they finished with a winning record last year, and, you know, that's good for them. And now, for them to be battling for a playoff spot, I think that'd be a huge success, and it'd be great for the city because, the folks that were telling me down there, Jim Trindich, the media relations guy, was telling me that they haven't had that excitement. They're packing the ballpark last year, and that hasn't been there for years. And so it's good news for these, these clubs that, been the bottom dwellers. It's nice for them to see some upside.
Right, and you speak of teams that used to be the bottom dwellers, not only the Pirates, teams like the Royals and other teams like that, all these teams with enormous upside coming into this season, maybe not winning the divisions this year, but looking to at least compete in those divisions.
Right, and that's what's going to be exciting about baseball. That's why I love baseball season. It's just exciting.
Right, there's a lot. Sometimes there's not much parity, but I think this season we're going to see a lot more parity in baseball than we have in the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the words of Tim Tebow, I'm excited.
45 times in the speech.
45 times. I'm 45 times excited.
I'm pretty sure I also saw about Skip Bayless tweet, I'm excited about 45 times, and hashtag Tebow takes Manhattan or whatever he was saying.
All right, DJ, what do we got next?
We are going to talk some OU baseball as they beat ORU last night 5-2. What are your thoughts on that win?
Bobby, go ahead.
A great win. You and we talked about on a previous show which team we thought was going to maybe be the best in Oklahoma, and we both pretty much thought that from a record standpoint and maybe even overall, ORU might have been that best team in Oklahoma. That being said, Oklahoma finally gets a good outing from their pitching staff. They move Jordan John into that closing role, and he does an excellent job. I mean, it was just a great outing in general. You give up 2 runs to a pretty solid ORU lineup. You're doing something right. I know it's only a 1-game midweek. You obviously don't have a series, so we couldn't see what would happen, say, over an weekend series. But I think it was a good win.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Kale Kosho, that's his 2nd win on the year, but he did give up 5 walks, six walks in 5 innings. So that's a little alarming. But I take it's a victory for the Sooners. They got to win the games against ORU,
right.
The wins against Air Force. These teams that they should beat. Because because of who they are and where they're at, and that's good for them to continue their development and to get better with this young Sooner squad. So
the other good thing you can see from Kale Kosho is he gave up those 6 walks, but he still only gave up 1 earned run, which means he found a way to get out of the innings that he did give up those walks.
And so not giving up runs late in games, which we've seen with OU this season. That's good news for them. That they're taking a step in the right direction.
And I think it all goes back to that move to put Jordan John in that closer role, as opposed to I'm drawing a blank on who they were in the.
They were
roles.
rotating different people, so
right. And now they found Jordan John, who was in the setup role, excelling, doing a very good job in that. The setup role. They moved him into the closer's role.
Sure.
And I think they finally found a closer that can handle the job.
Some interesting matchups I want to talk about briefly before we move on is Florida's playing South Carolina. That's a big SEC matchup.
Yeah, that's a
coming up.
Top 10 matchup right there.
Texas A&M goes out to Pepperdine. Pepperdine, who handed OU 2 losses at the beginning of the year. Pepperdine's playing all right now, but Texas A&M falls to number 10 on the year. And ORU, who just lost to OU, heads out to number 13, Cal State Fullerton.
It'll be an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
2 pretty solid teams. It'd be interesting to see what happens there. Texas goes to Kansas State this weekend. Kansas State's always tough in Manhattan. They're not always a good team.
They're just competitive.
But they play hard. Absolutely.
All right, DJ, what's next?
We have a buy or sell segment. Just to reiterate on what you guys were talking about, the 6 walks and 5 innings pitched. I remember a day in baseball or college baseball when you walked 6 guys in 5 innings pitched, you weren't making it past the 5th inning.
Yeah.
A lot of runs have been reduced with the new BB Core bats and whatnot. But that's here and there. Next, buy or sell. Do you buy or sell the LA Dodgers making a profit
under
Magic Johnson?
Okay.
What do you mean by profit? Like, are they going to make money off of it, or are they going
to make money off it, or are they going bankrupt?
Ooh.
Well, it's tough to make money when the price tag was $2 billion. But Frank McCourt did it. He bought the team for $430 million, flipped it for $2 billion. That's a pretty nice profit right there. I do think that with Magic Johnson buying the team, well, he not necessarily buying it. I think he
was the spokesperson.
He's the spokesperson.
He's the puppet.
He's
right,
the puppet,
exactly. So. But I think that's going to build a lot of expectations around the team. I feel that maybe they might, they probably will do well under Magic Johnson and the current regime, because I feel that they're going to actually care about making the team good. That being said, I want Dodgers fans to not get their hopes up too high right away. Championships may come or they may not. You'll compete for championships, obviously, but to think that you might win a championship right away, I think is a little bit out there.
See, I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to say, do you buy or sell the Dodgers being a serious contender under Magic Johnson, especially in the 2012 season? And I'm going to take that now with a grain of salt. And I think the Dodgers with Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp, they're going to be a pretty solid squad out in that division.
No, they will be.
So they should win the division, and that should put them in a solid position. Anything can happen in October. I think the Dodgers may, make a run at it this year. And like I said, that was my bold prediction mentioned earlier,
Yeah,
was for the
absolutely.
Dodgers to, maybe be a slip into the World Series. But I think under Magic Johnson and with the people that he has,
he's got a good ownership.
He has a
group
good
with him.
ownership group that seem really interested in, not only bringing excitement back to the LA community about,
but putting a winning team on the field.
winning team out on the field. And so after all things considered where they finished last year, they still finished above 500 after that train wreck of what was going on in the front
with
office.
Frank McCourt, yeah.
So it's I think that this is a championship caliber team on the rise under Magic Johnson and his backers.
And I agree with you. I do think that they'll make the World Series at some point. I just don't think it will be this year. I think it's too early. I think that they need a couple more pieces.
Sure.
They have a lot of great pieces down there in Los Angeles, but I just think that they're maybe one or two pieces away from winning the World Series.
Yeah.
And I think that anyone who has who's going to put these expectations on them to win right away is just being a little irrational. And a team doesn't get a new owner and just win right away. It just doesn't happen in sports.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a reason the team gets sold.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. All right, DJ, what do we got next?
We have some high school talk for you. What are some of the high school standouts that you guys are willing to mention?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the high school standouts from a team standpoint. We're going to do a brief rundown of the rankings real quick.
Right.
Broken Arrow still sits at number 1 at 13-1.
Right.
No surprise there. That was our preseason number 1.
Exactly.
Wasso's number 2 at 15-1.
Santa Fe has only played 6 games so far this season. I'm sure there's a couple rainouts in there, but everyone else on the east side has played 14, maybe 15 games so far this season, and they've only played 6. They haven't lost a game yet, but only playing 6 games so far. That's a little surprising.
If I remember correctly, though, Santa Fe was supposed to be heading to a tournament somewhere. A lot of these schools head to Florida and play in competitive tournaments. So they'll go to California, Arizona. They'll go to warm weather places to play in some tournaments. So that's one reason why I think you're seeing some of these
they're in a tournament
greater numbers. I know Norman North has done that in the past. I don't know if they did that this year. Norman North continues to climb up in the rankings, moving up to number 10, sitting up at 8-2. So good moves for the Timberwolves. Edmond North falls from the 13 spot down to the 16 spot, sitting at 4-7. So a little bit of parity in high school baseball this year. Stillwater remains right around 6.
Southmore doing very well this year as well.
Doing well, and Sand Springs playing well at 13-1. They stand at number 5, and UConn still at number 4 at 14-3. But yeah, moving on. DJ, I think let's go ahead and take a break real quick.
All right. When we get back, we have our highly known high heat segment. I'll be getting into
the critically acclaimed.
There you go. The critically acclaimed, excuse me. But right now we're going to take a quick little break. Stay tuned for In the Dugout.
It's no coincidence the Toyota Tundra has received the most dependable large pickup award from J.D. Power and Associates. Not once, not twice, but 6 years in a row. Now that's a statement no other truck can make. The full-size Tundra from Toyota.
Welcome back to ITD. Trevor Rogers, joined by Bobby Rose.
Are we ready to start?
I think it's time.
It's time to go head to head.
It's
Trevor.
time. We're 2-2 on the year.
Yes, I think we are 2-2.
2-2.
Tied at 2-2.
All right,
time to break the tie, DJ.
All righty. Well, question number 1. We're going to go to the NL East, and Miami is where we're going. You just left there, right?
The Miami Marlins.
The Miami Marlins.
Okay. What are the chances that they win 80 games this year?
Absolutely none.
None?
No.
Not even
giving
a little
them
bit?
zero chance.
I'm going to give him no chance.
Okay. Really?
I'm going to give him no chance
That's
to win
fair.
80 games this year. I think that with Jose Reyes, they'll be better. I just don't see Ozzie Guillen getting it done in his first year with the Marlins. So I'm gonna say they go under 80 games. I think they'll be they'll improve over the next couple of years, but no, this year
Not this year.
Okay. I'm not gonna quite go 0%. I'll give them a 10% chance, but I don't think they will. I agree with Trevor. I think they'll be under 80, 81 or 80 wins. I think they'll be right around 75, somewhere between the 70 to 75 range. And it's because I don't think you can win with three good players. You have Josh Johnson. I mean, Jose Reyes and
Hanley
Ramirez. I mean, that's pretty much it. Their talent pool is pretty down there in Miami. I mean, you can't win with three players in the ultimate team sport.
Miami's just they're a weird team though, because every 6 or 7 years they start out pretty well. Well, here's the thing: every 6 or 7 years, with their World Series past, they get rid of everybody, and then all of a sudden they're just back and they win a World Series.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough this year because, they don't have anyone.
No, I completely agree.
I mean, I'm going to take them for under.
Under? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to disagree with both of you guys. I think that's over. I really.
You're taking the over.
I'm taking the over.
Trevor, you wanted to make a bet with him on that?
I don't have any money.
I'd love to take
I would if I had money.
I would take the bet as well if I had money.
I love Ozzie Guillen as a manager, and I think they have the right parts going on down there with Josh Johnson, Hanley.
Here's my thoughts on Ozzie, though. He had the one good year in Chicago where he won the World Series, and then, I mean, he hasn't really done much since, honestly. He's a really loudmouth guy that seems to win every now and again.
I think he knows how to get the most out of his players. I don't think he had a championship.
I'll agree with DJ there. Chicago, who did they have on that team?
They had a bunch of guys getting old. A.J. Przinsky.
But their pitching staff was incredible.
Really? Gavin Floyd, John Danks, they were young guys. But
I just remember though that Astros team was loaded offensively when they played in that World Series.
Uh-huh.
They had the killer bees. They had Berkman, Biggio, and Bagwell.
Right, and after that, the Astros
and Andy Pettit was on that team too as a pitcher. And
Roger Clemens was on there too.
That was a team built for the World Series, and they completely collapsed.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and then after that, the Astros pretty much just that year was their last year, and they're
gone.
They're in trouble now.
Yep,
especially now in the AL West.
With our next question, we're going to stick in the NL East. What is your thoughts on the Chase Utley situation going on in Philadelphia?
Bobby, I'll let you take this one first.
I mean,
he obviously has trouble with his knees. Do you think, or when do you think he'll be able to get back on the field?
He's expected to miss what?
Right now, there's no timetable
set. There's no timetable set.
That's not good. I mean, Chase Utley is an important part of that Phillies team, obviously. And knees are a big issue, especially for a baseball player, because a lot of your power comes from your legs, and if your knees are, screwed up, that's trouble. It's sad because, I mean, he's a great guy, a great player. I mean, it's bad that it has to happen to him, but I mean, he's kind of getting close to the end of his career anyway.
From what it looks like, if I'm the Phillies though, you got to go out and you got to get another stick.
Right, you
got to fill that hole in the lineup. So
because it's not just Chase Utley that's out right now. Don't forget Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard's also out.
That's going to be a team though. I mean,
they still have a pretty good lineup even without those two players.
Their pitching staff is going to be what's going to win it for the Phillies anyway. So I'd say the distress level for the Phillies is about. I'd give it a 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it too high. Yeah,
and so I know, but eventually you're gonna have to go out, and especially if the injury continues to be an issue, you got to go out and you got to get some sticks because you got to put runs on the board.
If he doesn't recover well enough to play by about the All-Star break, maybe a little bit before, I would say you need to go out and sign somebody. And then, I mean, maybe you look to make a move at the trade deadline as well, if he's still not even back after the All-Star break. But, I mean, it's just kind of a bad situation.
It's a shame, I know, because Chase Utley's a great guy, and he's great for the league.
All right, next question. We're going to go to Bobby's backyard and ask him about the Kansas City Royals. Who's going to fill in for Joakim Soar in that closer spot?
Oh, God, that's a troublesome question because I'm going to be real honest with you. The bullpen isn't the greatest in the league, although it's better than our starting rotation, to be real honest with you.
I saw Bruce Chin. He'll be the opening day
starter. Yes, we'll be hanging loose with Bruce on opening day. Okay. Although I kind of wish Jonathan Sanchez was maybe the opening day starter. At least he's been proven. Although I'm going to be real honest with you, Bruce Chin has been great for us. He's been a very solid starter for us. And I'm looking at the roster right now, and this is pretty much what I thought was going to be the case. I'm gonna say go ahead and say that I think Jonathan Broxton will probably end up being the closer in that role until he gets back. I mean, it's been in a role where he's been before.
Yeah,
with
proven
exactly. He's done it before with the Dodgers. A very solid. He was an All-Star one year as a closer with the Dodgers. I would say him. I mean, maybe Aaron Crow, because I mean he was the setup guy last year. It'll be one of those two, I would think.
I have no idea. The closing situation with the league is being tossed around so much. You go with your Royals, and I'm sitting here looking at my Red Sox, and I have no idea what they're going to do because they just moved Daniel Bard, who was the setup guy for Papelbon, and was throwing hotter than Papelbon towards the end of the year. And they moved him up to the starting rotation for spring training. So I'm thinking that they're going to put him back in the bullpen and putting him in that closing situation. But again, closers in the league right now are just they're circling. I don't know what a lot of teams are going to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on, but I did get to see what was cool is I did get to see Mariano Rivera throw an inning at spring training. Came in the fourth inning for the Yankees,
throwing that cutter.
Yeah, and it was. Enter Sandman came on over the loudspeakers. I was like, that's pretty cool. You got to give props to Rivera.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have time for one more question.
Let's do it.
And with opening day being in Japan this morning, over or under 200 hits for Ichiro this year?
Whew, that's a tough one. He had 4 last night, so I mean, 4 down, 196 to go. Yeah.
He's on
usually
pace.
Right, absolutely, definitely. He usually has right around 200. Usually gets over 200. He's a very good average hitter. I'm gonna go ahead and say the over.
Yeah,
I'll take the over on that.
I will go just to play devil's advocate, and I don't necessarily believe in this. I'll say under just because of where he's at in his age in his career.
Right.
And if Ichiro were to get hurt, he has had a blessed career. He's been healthy every year. So I knock on wood that it doesn't happen this year. But I'm just saying where he's at in his career right now, his age, I could see this year not being the year that he gets over
I agree.
200.
I think the only thing that could stop him from getting 200 hits is probably an injury.
Yeah, right.
Like a lengthy injury. If it's only like something that gets him on like the 15-day DL or something, I think he'd still get 200 hits. But if it's something that takes him out for like a couple months, then yeah, I mean, I would think that he probably wouldn't get there anymore.
All right, that is it for the high heat segment. Now I get to pick the winner. I'm gonna have to go with Bobby. Are
you kidding?
I'm sorry. I'm
now in the lead over 500. I've won now 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. You're hot right now.
I am on the hitting streak. That's what we'll call it. That's what we'll call it.
I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board. I'm going to have to start talking to my front office and ask for a trade or something.
You're in a slump.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we get some exclusive footage from spring training that our friend Trevor, he was able to obtain, and we will show that here as soon as we get back next on In the Dugout.
Whether you're a weekend warrior or a high school athlete, injuries happen. The physicians at Oklahoma Sports and Orthopedic Institute are ready to help you get back to your game. This team of highly trained orthopedic surgeons and sports medicine physicians specialize in the prevention and treatment of all sports-related injuries, as well as comprehensive spine care, joint replacement, and fracture care. If you find yourself on the sidelines, call 360-6764 or log on to osoi.com. OSOI, get back to your game.
Welcome back to In the Dugout. Now we got a little special something for you. Last week, as you guys all know, Trevor was in Florida at spring training for the Pirates, Red Sox, and a little bit of the Yankees, as well as a few other stops on destinations. Trevor, you had a great time. Tell us a little bit about it.
I did. It was really cool to be down there around that atmosphere that surrounds these teams' camps. And I tell you what, if you're a Yankees fan and a Red Sox fan, you got to be a little concerned about the way John Lester's been performing and the way Phil Hughes has been performing. So there's definitely a sense of urgency to get those guys where they need to be coming into the season. The big excitement with the Red Sox camp was Bobby Valentine. He's a very charismatic guy. He likes to go around and talk to the crowd.
Right, you were telling us you talked to him.
I got to talk
15
to him
minutes.
15 minutes. He's a friendly guy. He's very charismatic. He's a character. So there's a lot of excitement with a lot of people. I heard a lot of people say you have a good year, Bobby, and go get him, Bobby. And so that's a good thing.
Right, people saying. People always talk about how fiery of a guy he is and how he gets players to play for him. And,
sure.
I think you got a little taste of that when you talked to him. I did.
So he's a friendly guy. The Yankees camp is interesting. It's very hard to get around those guys just because of how they run their camp. But it was still a good atmosphere. Got to meet Joe Girardi. I didn't get to meet, but I saw him. Very close to him. And then from the Red Sox perspective, is very Kevin Youkilis, cool guy. He's a funny guy. The excitement around that camp was cool. The Pirates down in Bradenton, Florida. Awesome atmosphere, very, very intimate with how the fans are,
right?
With how close they are to the field, and
a good fan base.
It is a good fan base, and it's an old school style park, pretty park. So there's a lot of excitement building on where they're going to be this season, and the guys that they have, it's a young squad. Andrew McCutchen is going to be a huge impact player,
right?
The pitching staff with AJ Burnett, if he could keep his ERA under 5 this year, I think that's going to put the Pirates in a good position to win some games. So there's a lot of stuff going on down there, and there's good things coming up, and so you'll see it right here. DJ, let's go ahead and roll that.
I think this is the first time we've seen this video as well, DJ.
Are you prepared for it?
We'll see.
Let's look.
I'm here with Eric Fryer, who played with Team Ohio just a few years ago in the Sun Belt Classic, what's now the Heartland Classic, and he's now with the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. And so, Eric, talk to me through what has it been like going through the spring training process, and what do you guys do during spring training?
Spring training pretty much just a matter of getting your body in shape and ready for the regular season. A lot of times coming into big league camp, guys are fighting for jobs at the big league level, AAA level, AA level. Typically the higher level guys are up here in big league camp. So a couple different things of getting your body set to play, getting the grind for 140 games season. So we're doing lifting weights, we're doing early work, we're doing catching work, we're doing whatever your specific position is. That's what you're really working on. That's along with hitting. And then also there's also the competition aspect of it, playing games, performing, trying to show the front office and coaches that you belong at the big league, AAA, AA, whatever level you think you belong at, trying to separate yourself and earn a job.
Now talk to me, you've been with, you started out with the Brewers, moved to the Yankees, and now you're with the Pirates. Talk to me about that process and how you've kind of gotten to this.
Drafted by the Brewers in 2007, spent 2 years there, short season in Low A in West Virginia. Then I was traded in 2009 right before spring training to the Yankees. Played with them for about a couple months. Middle of the season, I got traded to the Pirates, and I've been here ever since. I was my 4th year, I think, with the Pirates, 3rd full season. Last year was fortunate enough to start in AA and just work my way up to the big leagues, and I'm really liking it here in Pittsburgh. So I feel like I found a new home and hope I can stay here for a while longer.
Now you like you said, you made your debut last year with the Pirates. Describe to me, that feeling, your big league debut. You came out right after the All-Star game, right? Yeah.
Right around there. Actually, ironically enough, it was against the Boston Red Sox. So a lot of these guys I remember playing against. It was really, really exciting. I mean, going into the game, I felt like my nerves weren't getting into play. I was calm, relaxed. And then once the national anthem hit, when I was warming up the pitcher, it was kind of like, oh man, it's go time. So the next thought was just don't drop the first pitch I threw in there. So I was lucky enough to catch it, and then from then on out, it was just kind of a whirlwind. All the Red Sox guys were saying good luck coming to play, wishing me luck. Obviously, all the Pirates were pulling for me, wanting me to do well. I didn't get any hits that first game, but it was definitely a day I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Now, Eric, he came out of high school from Ohio and then wound up playing for Team Ohio in the Sun Belt Classic a few years ago. Talk about that experience in your life. I know it was just a short week, out of what's been a pretty long-lasting career for now. Talk about that moment in your baseball life.
I made a lot of friends that weekend for sure. I mean, it was really the first time probably away from home where the parents didn't come along, and it was a week-long baseball tournament, like you said. I was fortunate enough to have a lot of those guys go to Ohio State with me, and so those relationships that started in Ohio really blossomed throughout the years. Corey Lipke, Matt Engel, guys that stayed with us and right down the street from us, they're still working out with me in the offseason. They're still playing professional baseball, major league level. So it's really great knowing that we kind of have the same roots and the same process going up and around. So we can really rely on each other, bounce ideas off of each other, and really grow as people.
And then real quick, one more. Last year, you guys, the Pirates were so close. They led the division through the All-Star break, and were so close to making the playoffs last year. What's the excitement going into this year, and what are you personally looking forward to the most this season?
Well, I think we definitely got some growing pains. We learned a lot of lessons the first couple months of the season, even some greater ones the last couple months, where things didn't really go in our favor. We had to learn how to grow, how to accept that, and to get better for it down the road. And I think we've done that. We have different pieces in place this year. The coaches, the management in place is doing fantastic. Molding the guys, just developing the character and the team mindset they want to have. So I'm really looking forward to going out there and playing as much as you can to reconnect the city with the baseball team, because it's been so long since Pittsburgh fans have really been able to connect with the Pirates. I think last year we got close to that for a couple months. The place was sold out. It was crazy. We want to bring that back there. So anything I can do to be a part of that is definitely something that I'm excited about.
All right, well, good deal. Eric Fryer, everybody.
Welcome back to the show. That was a great interview there, Trevor. Great stuff from Eric Fryer. Genuinely seems like a great guy.
He is.
I know you talked to him probably for a little while longer.
Sure, yeah.
I mean,
cool. He's just a cool guy. Wish him the best. I think the kid's got a great upside. The Pirates really enjoy him. And so, kid's got a good future. And
we hope he gets
hope
some
he does
good.
well. If you guys want to catch the rest of that segment, there's more footage and some other fun stuff from spring training at Bradenton, Florida that I posted that's on that same interview. Just check out our YouTube channel, In the Dugout. Okay, give it a look and share it with your friends.
You can also find all posted episodes as well.
Yep. All right, it's time for the second acclaimed,
the new critically acclaimed new segment.
Yep.
Right.
Charging the Mound. DJ, are you ready? All right, DJ, who do you have playing for the national championship this weekend in the Final Four?
I had, in my original bracket, I had Kentucky, Carolina. I also had Ohio State in the Final Four.
A homer.
Along with Michigan State.
You had all the one seeds but Syracuse.
Yep.
Well, that was your first mistake.
You're right.
DJ.
Right.
It's funny because I had Syracuse winning it all in some of my brackets.
And then they lost Fab Melo, and I knew they
lost.
had no chance.
Yep.
But as far as the teams playing this weekend for the national championship, I'm going to go with Ohio State and Kentucky, with Kentucky coming out on top.
I do agree with you on your national champion because I don't think Kentucky, there's not many teams that can match up with them. Although KU did play eyes on Jared Sullinger at any point in time, and Tyshawn Taylor can expertly guard Aaron Kraft. So I'm going to give you a 6 on that one.
A 6, okay.
I gave him a 6, and here's why: because it wasn't very original. I'm just playing with you. No, I mean everyone's got Kentucky. I think just for parity's sake. Alex,
I agree completely. I'll give you an 8 as well.
Creative.
About that, I think he can hit 90 RBIs. I mean, the Royals scored 10 runs yesterday against the Brewers. But I did like your answer. I'll give you an 8, and you passed that question.
My last question is over-under.
Maybe you guys make sure on Saturday you guys tune in and cheer on the Jayhawks.
Rock Chalk, I guess.
Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
I'm sure Josh Helmer.
I know you're not rooting for him because you don't want to be because you don't want to be ridiculed.
I guess I don't want to be ridiculed. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be tuned in, watching a lot of basketball this weekend. Very excited. Don't forget, follow us at Trevor RZ Preps. And if you guys have a question or anything about in the dugout, just hashtag ITD. Keep us up.
And don't forget to thunder up.
Thunder up. Big stuff coming up this weekend. Next week, we're going to do our division breakdown.
Division by division. It's an opening day special.
It's an opening day special. We got that. And then
we're
maybe
also
a special
hoping I'll try and get him on. My cousin, he's a clubhouse manager for the AA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals, the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. We'll keep you posted on that.
Should be fun stuff. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week on the End of the Dugout.